was kind of bored driving back from Austin back up to Lubbock, I'd make a quick little video about a 4.2 liter Trailblazer. So basically, it's this is an 04 Trailblazer. This is the extended model. Currently has 158,345 miles on it. And it's over, let's see, it's been in the family since it was new. And it's had, over those miles, it's had $2,000 worth of unwarranted work done to it. The motor in the seat that moves the seat back and forth went out at one point in time, and the cam position phasing sensor, or something along the lines. It has the word phasing in cam. That went bad on me. That was about 15,000 miles ago. That the last one happened. That's the only unwarranted work it's ever had done to it. While it was still under warranty, it went through a water pump and 2 throttle body servos. Still not a huge deal considering it's, considering in comparison to my last F-150, not a huge deal at all. Been pretty reliable. Kind of like this engine. It's a 4.2 liter straight 6. And this is coming from the previous truck I had. It was actually a pickup. It had a 4.2 liter V6 in it, which in that little V6 made 202 horsepower and 254 foot-pounds of torque. Now it's been a couple of years since I've looked on the specs for this engine, but it seems, if I remember correctly, it's pretty similar to, it shares a lot of, you kind of get the feeling that GM based it off of the AMC 4.2 block, which if you don't know what that is, that's basically the predecessor to the AMC 4.0, which was the 4 liter straight 6 that a lot of Jeeps had in them from 1988 to 2004 when they stopped making that engine. So straight 6 engines, I kind of like. I prefer them over V6s. I've never had a straight 6 that has given me very many problems, if any. V6s, I always end up with problem child. Oh, and the funny thing about this one is, if you look at the 4.0, it makes 190 horsepower, and I think it's somewhere around 250 pound-feet of torque. Don't quote me on the torque, I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, my 4.2 V6 that was in my F-150 made 202 horsepower and 254 foot-pounds of torque. Well, this 4.2, which this was designed about 5 years after, and the numbers I'm giving you on the 4.0 are for the high output version, which came out, I think, 96. So the 4.2 was designed in, the 4.2 V6 was designed in about 96. In 2001, GM introduced this, which makes 275 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque, which I'm not trying to bash on Ford, but that almost makes as much torque as the 5.4 liter V8. That was their base V8. That was their towing V8. So it's pretty interesting what how GM made some little changes and got a great straight 6. Because, here in the US, straight 6s are actually uncommon now. It's 2013. The only thing you're really going to get a straight 6 in is a 6.7 Dodge. As far as SUV and pickup units go. Now, when you start looking towards BMW and Porsche and all the, a lot more of the import cars, they're still running straight sixes. But, you know, it's a good engine. Hasn't given me any problems. In fact, the only thing I don't like about this vehicle, as a vehicle in a whole, is my advice is if you were going to buy one, used, of course, they don't make them anymore, go to a junkyard and try and find one with the police package on it, and pull the rear coil springs and put it under your rear end. Because I say that because this one's the extended model, and you're someone who's used to driving a pickup their whole life. You just can't get used to it. It's too soft. There's too much body roll. You want a little bit stiffer suspension. Now, the only other thing I don't like about it is, if you can see in the background here, there are a bunch of wind turbines behind me. I don't know if you can tell, but they're all turning. Wind's blowing about 30 miles an hour. This thing is a box on the highway. It's like driving a kite. Of course, this is the extended version. I don't know if the normal versions are this bad, but the extended versions are horrible in the wind. And I say that as, you know, the worst. I say this like, here's another comparison. I have a 99 Cherokee with a 3-inch lift. That has less problems in the wind than this thing does. This thing, it'll shudder and lean, and it's some of that has to do with the suspension. It's just not my first choice for areas such as West Texas, where the wind's always blowing. But other than that, it's been a very reliable vehicle. I know right around here, this seal right here, this door seal is never quite sealed right. And then this, I know the DVD player's been replaced once. Again, all warranted stuff. No big deal. I live with it. I rarely use the DVD player, as you can see. I'm mainly driving. It's hard to use a DVD player that's mounted behind your head when you're driving. But you know, I have two two-way radios in here right now, and the Yaesu FT2900, which is right up here on top of the dash. And right here, I don't know if y'all can see it. I know y'all can't see the Yaesu. Right here is an ICOM F221S, and there are two radios, or there are two antennas. One is mounted over the third row. You know, I dropped the headliner back there because that's the easiest end of the headliner to drop, and you know, went through with the NMO mount, mounted that, no problem. And then the other is a UHF. Well, that one was a plus 3 decibel VHF antenna, and then I have right here above the DVD player, I have a plus 6 decibel VHF antenna. If you have the model with the DVD player and you are a ham operator, or you know, you need a commercial radio for whatever reason with NMO, it's very easy to drop the DVD player and just drill straight up. I'm speaking from experience. So if you're not like me and you have a dual band antenna, or a dual band radio, a dual band antenna would be very easy to mount right there. Another good option for what I'm finding for this thing would be after I did this, I thought about it. I could have done a hood channel mount. Oh well, I'm not worried about it. The big question is this thing's getting up there in its mileage. I've got, you know, probably by the time I'm ready to trade it in, it won't be worth much. So my big question is, well, I have two things that I'd like to do with it. I'm thinking I'm going to end up parking it either way, and I'm going to pull the engine out and maybe try and put a Cummins 4BT in it, just for fun. But other than that, I want to pull the engine out of it because I either want to put the engine, we're trying to find my grandfather a 48 to 54 Chevy pickup, because he's always wanted one with the the 5 windows with the windows in the corners of the cab. He's wanted one since he was 15 years old. And he doesn't want to go with the V8. He'd rather have a straight 6. And he was going to go with a Jeep 4-liter. And then I said, well, this makes almost, this makes 80 plus horsepower over that 4-liter. So we've been debating about maybe if he finds a truck that hasn't had a V8 swapped into it, maybe throwing this in there. Otherwise, I'm actually considering using it as a 4.0 swap to my Jeep. It'd be an interesting little engine then, but like I said, just a bunch of things I'm debating about. But it runs good. It's never stranded me. The fuel gauge is a little wacky on it, but it's been alright to me. It's treated me a lot better than any of my Fords ever have, and I'm not trying to be hateful towards Fords. I've just never had Fords treat me well. But Dodges and Chevys have never been problematic to me at all. Gets about 17 miles to the gallon. Back in its heyday, it was getting about, right around when it hit 90,000 miles or so, it was getting close to 20 miles to the gallon. But it's not a huge deal. I think another part of that is in the last few years you've seen a bigger switch towards ethanol blended into normal gasoline. But other than that, it's been a good vehicle. I'd recommend it to a lot of people for first vehicles. Or a family, if you need a not too expensive family vehicle. I'd recommend them. They're not bad vehicles at all. GM still knows what they're doing with them. So a lot of the, this engine got put in Saabs, and a lot of other GM-owned vehicles have this engine as well. So it's a fairly common engine for how little it is, and as long as GM makes the Colorado with a inline 5, there's going to be people who know how to work on this inline 6, because all that inline 5 is this inline 6 minus the front cylinder. So it's a good engine, but I think I've rambled for long enough trying to entertain myself on this boring drive. But anyway, y'all have a nice day, and hope you enjoy this video.